Hey, it's Cole here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going over a second round mock draft here on day 2. I'm recording this about 4 hours away from when day 2 starts, rounds 2 starts. So man, I can't wait to dive deep into this because there's so many first round talents that have fell into the second round for whatever reason. I think one of the biggest ones is going to be the first pick here, but let's go ahead and just start talking about it. It was a fun day 1, a lot of surprises, man. I mean, look at the guys still available. Will Levis, Brian Branch, Michael Mayer, Joey Porter Jr. And the Steelers are going to take Joey Porter Jr. They are able to get Joey Porter Jr. and Broderick Jones. This Claypool trade was an absolute steal for the Steelers. No pun intended. But this is an absolute dream scenario for the Steelers who get Broderick Jones. They traded up, only cost them a 4th round pick. And they got Broderick Jones, one of the top tackles in this draft, in a position of need, and they trade Chase Claypool and they get Joey Porter Jr. still. And I'd be absolute shock if Joey Porter Jr. doesn't go here. I don't know, but it makes too much sense, right? It makes too much sense. That's why we were mocking him to the Steelers at pick 17. Now the Cardinals on the clock, and they could go a lot of places. Depending on the whole Budda Baker thing, maybe they go Brian Branch. I think a interior offensive lineman is 100% in play here, and I think that's what's gonna happen. Or you look at maybe some of the edge rushers available. I think Keon White is a possibility. BJ Ojolari, Adetimo Adebawore, even though I think he's more interior. Because they went Paris Johnson Jr. So maybe if they like one of these cornerbacks, they could possibly take him. I don't think they will. But I think it's interior offensive line or edge rusher. And honestly, here I'm gonna give him edge rusher, and I'm gonna give them Keon White. I think they could definitely take Keon White here. Again, they need some defensive help. Edge rusher, big one. And Keon White was invited to the first round, so there has to be some type of reasoning of why he went there. He had a feeling that maybe he would have got picked up. So maybe the Cardinals take him here. Who knows? Now, the Lions, again, they could go a lot of places. They went ahead and they traded back, and they selected Jahmyr Gibbs, and with their other pick, they selected Jack Campbell. Very surprising trades, or very surprising picks, very surprising trades. I'm going to guess they really wanted Devon Witherspoon, but again, he got picked 1 pick before the Lions, and so they traded back, and they selected Jahmyr Gibbs, which I don't understand. Obviously, now it seems like they're trying to trade DeAndre Swift. Again, they could go so many places here. They're in a very good position. And I think they took a look at tight end, and I think they go Michael Mayer here. Michael Mayer, they need a tight end. I thought, maybe they could possibly go tight end in the first round. They don't, but now you go ahead and you get a top tight end in this draft in Michael Mayer to help out Jared Goff and boost that offense that just got Jahmyr Gibbs. Now the Colts are on the clock. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw a tweet by Jim Irsay saying they could go Will Levis. I don't think they do. Maybe it's just to, drive up the trade value a little bit. Maybe they want, to trade back with somebody. I'm not too sure. Usually, it makes sense in the first round. Second round, not as much. Unless they're very well considering Will Levis with this pick. So with this Colts pick, I think I'm going to have them take cornerback, and I'm going to have them take Cam Smith. In the Rams, man. This one is very interesting because they're projected to possibly have a top 5, top 10 pick in next year's draft. They'll have their first round pick, but could they still possibly go Will Levis, as maybe they want him to sit behind Matthew Stafford for a year, which I think is smart. I think having Will Levis sit behind the quarterback is, again, smart. So maybe the Rams take a look at that. Right now, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think so. But it very well could. I think they could be looking at wide receiver or offensive line. Now I'm thinking about it, offensive line. I'm going to have them take Osiris Torrance because they need an offensive line to protect Matthew Stafford. And now the Seattle Seahawks, could they go Will Levis? Who knows? They possibly could. Brian Branch, maybe not makes that much sense. Obviously, they're not going to go wide receiver. They're not going to go cornerback. Oh, they've put themselves in an interesting position here. A very interesting position. Because they got edge rusher makes some sense here. Maybe interior defensive line, Keanu Benton. Ooh, I like that. I like that for the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, let's give him Keanu Benson. The Raiders, I think if the Raiders are in this situation, they have to take Will Levis. They have to take Will Levis. I'm going to give them Will Levis. Him sitting behind Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, would do very, very well. The Carolina Panthers, I think they're looking at wide receiver a little bit. Josh Downs, keep him in the North Carolina area. They may not go receiver. Again, it's really interesting to see what they do. Because obviously, the receivers they have aren't long term. They're not going to be the future. Even though Adam Thielen signed a 3-year deal somehow, for some reason, with the Carolina Panthers, it doesn't make sense. But again, he's not the future. He's like 32 years old. And then they got DJ Chark, I think, on a 1-year deal. I like Terrace Marshall, but he's not going to be that wide receiver one. None of these wide receivers are going to be wide receiver ones, unless, one of those guys have the breakout. I'm going to give him Josh Downs, though. I'm going to give him wide receiver, keep him in North Carolina, and I think that'd be pretty good. The Saints, they could go a few places as well. Maybe they double back on a defensive line and edge rusher, which I think, again, makes a lot of sense. So why not? Let's keep the kid home and B.J. Ojulari. Yeah, let's give the Saints B.J. Ojulari, and now they got Brian Brzee, and they also have B.J. Ojulari, which I think would be very good to revamp that defensive line that was totally, for the most part, dismantled after who left? Marcus Davenport, and some of these other guys, man. So now Titans are on the clock, and I mean Brian Branch makes a lot of sense. Receiver makes a lot of sense because they went Peter Skoronski. And so, man, where are we sitting here? Offensive line still could make some sense, 100%. Wide receivers, maybe they're interested in one of these wide receivers, maybe one of the Tennessee guys. Maybe they look at Hendon Hooker. That could 100% be a possibility. And I might have them take Hendon Hooker. Let's give him Hendon Hooker. I'm just kind of spitballing here. I'm kind of, freestyling because, who knows? Oh, no, never mind. Bro, I thought the Packers only had 2 picks this draft left. But no, that's just the second round. So, the Packers, you know what? Brian Branch fell right into their lap. They're going to take Brian Branch here. Now, the Jets, who selected Will McDonald, which surprised me. I didn't expect them to go Will McDonald. I think they still got to try to protect, Aaron Rodgers. So let's go ahead and have him draft DeJuan Jones. Falcons are down the clock, and I'm going to give him defensive line. I think that could maybe cornerback. They could go a few places here. A cornerback and defensive line make the most sense for me. Maybe wide receiver. With how weak it is, maybe not. Obviously not going to go running back. They selected Bijan. Let's give him Adetomo Adebawore. Let's give him. And then the Packers, I think they'd be ecstatic to get Darnell Washington. And now the Patriots are on the clock. They could go a few places here as well as they went, what's his name? They went Christian Gonzalez, which, oh my gosh, such a steal. What a steal, man. And so they don't really need to go cornerback. They don't really need to go interior offensive line. So maybe Cody Mock if they like him at tackle. Edge rusher if they want to go there too. As the edge rushers are kind of going off the board now. Tooley, I like Tooley too. Foskey is fine. Derek Hall is nice. Receivers, what receivers we got? Okay, maybe Tillman, I think, could make a lot of sense. I think that definitely could make a lot of sense. Jonathan Mingo could definitely also make a lot of sense there. Because they got Juju, Kendrick Bourne, Devontae Parker. So the receiver's a possibility. And you know what? I think they're going to go ahead and take receiver. And this might be a little bit... No, let's give him Mingo. Let's give him Mingo, Jonathan Mingo. And the Commanders on the board, they're pretty happy with how the board has fell so far. And I think they're going to take John Michael Schmitz here. The Lions, who have taken Michael Mayer, Jack Campbell, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Maybe a cornerback. A cornerback could make some sense here. If a receiver makes a lot of sense as well, depending on who they really want here. Because there could be any of these players really could go here. It really depends. Because obviously They lost some of their receivers due to the gambling. And it's cornerback or receiver, it feels like. Unless, again, they want to possibly go edge rusher. Which again is a possibility. Defensive line, even maybe. Let's give him wide receiver. Let's give him Cedric Tillman here. Or Jalen Hyatt could be fun. Jalen Hyatt could be fun. Inside. Let's give him Jalen Hyatt. Now, the Steelers, who have had a heck of a draft so far, getting Joey Porter Jr. and Broderick Jones, they could go interior and go Steve Avila, which I think that's what we're going to have him do, go Steve Avila. Now, the Buccaneers, man, who have taken Kalijah Kancey, which kind of surprised me. I thought, on the board, maybe they go cornerback. Maybe they go like Anton Harrison. Now here, maybe they go linebacker now because they have no idea. I have no idea what's happening with Devin White. I don't know if he'll be on the team by the end of today. So maybe they go linebacker. Go Drew Sanders. Safety, I don't really think I should take. I wouldn't take a safety necessarily. Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't. Tight end is definitely a possibility. Luke Musgrave. I know they have Cade Otton and somebody else that I'm thinking of. Can't remember his name. Maybe, again, they could go tight end. Maybe they go tackle. Do they like Matthew Bergeron? Do they like Cody Mauch? Who knows? Let's give Matthew Bergeron. Now I'm thinking about it. Let's have him go tackle. And the Dolphins are absolutely pissed that they could not go Matthew Bergeron. But I think a running back is possibly a play here. Is 100% possibly a play. And based off the running backs that they like, I'm considering Tyjae Spears here. Unless they want to go like Cody Mauch, interior offensive line possibly, and Joe Tippmann, Luke Whippler, or Weipler. I'm gonna give them. Who did I say I was gonna? I already forgot what I was gonna say, man. Tight end. That's right, tight end. Running back. Let's give him Tyjae Spears. And now the Seattle Seahawks on the clock, who went Jackson Smith-Njigba, Keanu Benton in this mock, and then also Devon Witherspoon. So a tight end is also in play here. Maybe you're looking at some defensive line help. Well, I guess you got Keanu Benton. Maybe edge help. Man, the Seahawks put themselves in a very good position this draft. A very, very good position. You know what? I think we give them interior offensive line. Luke Whippler, Joe Tippmann. On my board, I think I have Luke Whippler. I think I have Luke a little higher than Joe Tippmann, so I'm going to give them Luke here. Now the Bears, who selected Darnell Wright. I still can't believe I don't know why they didn't take Jalen Carter. Who knows, man? Who knows? So the Bears are now on the clock. So they could use some defensive line help 100%. I know they probably would want Keanu Benton here. Whew. Again, any of these guys could go high in the second round. Kobe Turner, Isaiah Foskey, Derek Hall. Any of these guys really could go high. I'm not the highest on Siaki Ika. We'll give him Isaiah Foskey here. And now the Chargers, after getting Quentin Johnston, they could go a few places here. Maybe safety. Maybe we could see a safety go off the board here. Because Nasir Adderley retired. I don't think JT Woods is going to be that guy. Cornerback. Let's give him a safety. Let's give them Antonio Johnson here. The Lions, they have gone so far Michael Mayer, Jalen Hyatt, Jack Campbell, and Jahmyr Gibbs, man. What is such an interesting draft so far. I mean, they could go so many places still too. Maybe an edge rusher. I think we could look at an edge rusher. Defensive lineman of some sort. It really depends kind of who you like. Let's just give him Siaki Ika here. The Jaguars on the clock after getting, who'd they draft? Anton Harrison. So I think secondary is still in play here. And maybe we give them like Sidney Brown. At first I was thinking Jartavius Martin, kind of be that kind of duo, like safety, nickel, cornerback type of player. But I think we focus here on cornerback, and let's give him Tyreek Stevenson. Giants on the clock, they went Deonte Banks, which I think is a really good pick. And I think they're looking at wide receiver. And again, could be any of these guys who go here. Maybe they look at no, they already have, they have Darren Waller. Totally forgot about that. Maybe they look at running back, but I think maybe you look at running back in the third round for them. So interior offensive line is also a spot of need. And I'm going to give them Joe Tippmann. He's still on the board. They need some interior offensive line. Give them Joe Tippmann. Now, the Cowboys, they could use another receiver possibly. And I think that's a possibility. I think a running back is also a possibility. And you know what? Let's give them Zach Charbonnet. Let's give them Zach Charbonnet. The Bills, they took Dalton Kincaid. Let's give them a linebacker. And they're getting my top linebacker in this draft, in Drew Sanders. Bengals, who selected Myles Murphy. That's right. They could go a few places if they want a tight end, possibly. Defensive line, interior defensive line could be a move. DB. You look at the corners, still left. DJ Turner, Keely Ringo. Let's give him Keely Ringo. Possibly a guy who could play safety. After losing Jesse Bates, right? If I'm not, I believe it was Jesse Bates. But he can play safety. He can play corner. You need both. Just get Keely Ringo there, who in my opinion is the 5th best cornerback in this draft class. Now the Bears, they have gone Isaiah Foskey, and they have gone Darnell Wright. So I think secondary is a possibility. I mean, if you want to look at interior off the line, if you just want to still try to reinforce that defensive line, go ahead, be my guest. And again, it really all depends who you like more. Let me look at my grades so I can kind of see who I would pick necessarily, because I'm trying to do a predictive mock, but it's so hard to predict here in the second round, because they could go very well anywhere. So my next best guy still on the board here is Gervin Dexter, so I'm going to give him Gervin Dexter. Now the Eagles, who had a heck of a draft, I still can't believe that happened. Getting Nolan Smith at pick 30 and Jalen Carter at pick 9. I can't believe it. And so they obviously don't need defensive line. I think an offensive tackle, Cody Mock. Let's give him Cody Mock here. And the Chiefs, who selected Felix Anudike-Uzomah with their first pick. So now I think a receiver is possibly on the board here, depending if they get DeAndre Hopkins. Possibility, 100%. I think maybe a Cedric Tillman, if they want to kind of go for more of the flashy, speedster player. Maybe look at Parker Washington, or even, I know he's not that speedy, but he can do a lot after the catch, I should say. Kayshon Boutte. I think those are 2 receivers I think they would really like based on that. I think Cedric Tillman's definitely a possibility. Yeah, let's go receiver. Let's give him Cedric Tillman. And that's going to be it for my second round mock draft. Again, flame me all you want, because honestly, I don't feel comfortable with any of these picks. The only pick I feel comfortable with is Joey Porter Jr. And, John Michael Smith falling to Washington, because I'd be ecstatic if that ever happened. But it probably won't. But you know what? Maybe this is realistic, because nobody thought Christian Gonzalez was falling to the Patriots. Nobody thought, Jackson Smith-Njigba, I think, was falling to the Seahawks. Maybe some people did. Most people probably did. I think same thing with Deonte Banks. Especially Nolan Smith. Nobody saw Nolan Smith falling to the Eagles. So anybody can fall for any reason. We saw that last year with Kobe Dean and his injury. So, again, anything could happen. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.